I'm gonna tell you why your pastor's headset microphone always sounds so bad on Sunday mornings, and then 3 ways that you can fix it in this video. You know, we've all been there where our pastor's headset sounds really tinny, or maybe it's just really boomy, picking up the plosives of their voice. And no matter how much we fiddle with the EQ or compression, we just can't get it sounding good. And there's 3 main things that we need to address to get that mic dialed in. Number 1 is the placement, right? If the microphone isn't in the right spot, then it's never going to pick up our source accurately. It's like pointing a snare drum microphone at the kick drum, right? You're never going to pick up that source tone that you want. And we actually have a guide for you that walks you through step by step where you need to place your microphone for your speaker. So your stage manager could use this, your audio engineer, even your pastor if he's the one putting on the headset. So we have to get placement first to properly pick up our source tone. Then we need to talk about processing. We need to shape it with EQ and compression so that the signal is smooth and it's easy to listen to throughout our service. Once we address processing and placement and you still just can't get your mic sounding good, maybe we need to look at a new mic. Maybe you're just not using the right tool for the job. Whether it's a directional mic or an omni, a condenser or dynamic, a dual ear, a single ear, there's so many variables that go into picking the right headset microphone for your pastor. So in this video, we're mainly going to talk about processing, but remember, we've got that placement guide for you to reference week to week in the description below. I've got Marcus here with a headset mic on, and I'm just gonna walk you through what I'm doing to process his headset and get it sounding the way that it does now. All right, Marcus, go ahead and talk for me.
Yeah, sure. Hey, thanks for watching this video here on YouTube. Hey, we make videos for worship and tech teams, but we do a lot more than just that. So hope this microphone's sounding really, really good.
Great, thanks. So the first thing that I want to address at the very top of our channel strip is our head amp gain. Maybe even before your head amp gain here, you need to adjust your wireless receiver as well to make sure that you're getting adequate signal into your microphone receiver, and then we can adjust the head amp gain on our console. You know, we talk a lot about getting a consistent gain structure for your sources. And the same thing applies for a headset, but the reality is sometimes we may not be able to reach that target that we're going for because we run into feedback. And so in that case, what I'm trying to do whenever I'm setting my head amp gain is get the signal as hot as I can before it feeds back. Maybe test it, turn it up, wait till it feeds back, and then take it down maybe 3-4 dB so that you're sitting in a really safe zone and you don't run into those problems while your pastor's on stage on Sunday. I'm gonna have Marcus talk and just get my gain set, and then we'll move down the channel strip from there.
Hello, hello. Back again, looking at the drums over here. We got this nice Yamaha kit over here. Hasn't been tuned in ages, but that's about to change, baby. Hope you're liked and subscribed to our page, because we're going to be tuning these bad boys up and making them rip. They're going to be ripping. How's that gain looking?
All right, great. Our gain is looking good. I was able to get it up to my target. Maybe you're running -18, -15, -12. Whatever you're trying to do, you know, try to reach for that target. But again, if you can't get there, try to get it as hot as you can and then bump it back a few dB just so you don't run into feedback problems. Now that we have our gain set, we're gonna move on to our filter. I have my filter set at about 140 right here. I would set this anywhere from, you know, 140, 150, maybe even just below 200 if you're running into a lot of problems with boominess from your microphone. If you're getting a lot of plosives, if you're getting a lot of just breathing noise or resonance from your room, this is going to be so essential that you have your high pass filter set correctly so that you cut out a lot of that boominess that you may get from just room resonances or, again, plosives or breathing. So this is really getting a good foundation for us to further shape our tone of this headset mic. And the F2 doesn't have slope control for me to change the slope of the high pass filter, but it is a -18 dB per octave slope on this. And I would recommend anywhere from -18, -12. Again, if you're really having those problems, maybe you even go up to -24 if your console has that option. And then right after that, I'm going into compression. I wanna make sure that this sounds as natural as possible, that the speaker has room to be dynamic while he's talking. and you know, people can really hear the inflections of his voice. If he goes up to talk really loud, they can hear that emotion, but also he sounds really consistent whenever he's talking quiet too. So looking at the compressor settings, I've got this threshold so that we're basically compressing all the time, even if that's just 1 to 2 dB in the quiet moments. And then whenever my speaker would get up to talk louder, you know, really raise their voice, we may get into like 5-6 dB of compression. And the key to keep this really smooth is keeping a soft knee. And what this means is it is smoothing out that transition from the uncompressed signal to the compressed signal, so it's not as abrupt whenever my signal reaches that compression threshold. And then looking at attack and release, these are set to fast so that we don't hear the pumping in the compressor. The compressor catches the signal and then it releases whenever the signal is below that threshold. And then for my ratio, I've got that set at around 5:1. So I'm gonna have Marcus talk again to hear what that compressor is doing.
If you guys have never worn a headset mic before, or if you're always frustrated that your pastor moves their headset mic around, you should put one of these things on. This thing's so uncomfortable. It hurts. It feels like you got a headache going on all day long. Yeah, you should put your pastor's headset mic on and walk around with it on for like an hour, and then you'll have a lot more empathy for them.
Sorry, do you want me to not cut you off?
No, it's funny. It's funny.
All right, great. So we saw that in those lower moments, it was hitting that, you know, about 2 dB of compression. And then when Marcus started talking a little bit louder, we were hitting around 6 to 7 dB, exactly what we want, but still just keeping that smooth signal throughout. So looking at this EQ that I have dialed in, this is a 4-band EQ, and just generally walking you through the philosophy behind this. Band number 1, this is going to cut out a lot of that boominess from your speaker's voice. In this instance, I have it set around 350, and that's what worked for Marcus, just to make sure that we're not getting a ton of low-mid buildup. And then my band 2 set around 700. Again, this is going to be subjective for your speaker, but this helps with a lot of that nasally noise that you may get. And then further up, my band 3 set around 2K. This helps with a little bit of that harshness of my speaker's voice. You know, your sermon may be 30 minutes, 45 minutes, maybe even an hour long. And whenever we listen to a source for that long, we want to make sure that it's not fatiguing for our listeners. And so cutting out some of that high mid helps to just smooth out your speaker's voice. And then my band 4 is up here around 12K because I was experiencing some feedback. And I found that at 12.6K in my room with Marcus actually standing in front of the PA that I needed to cut that a little bit. And once I did, feedback went away and we were all good. Now, one more thing to mention, if your speaker has a lot of sibilants, if the S's are really harsh and distracting, you can cut out some of that 6 to 8K is typically where we find the sibilance range. I would use EQ to address your sibilants first, and then if EQ just is not doing it, then use a DeEsser as your kind of last resort. That just helps to make sure that, again, your speaker sounds as natural as possible. So I'm gonna have Marcus talk one more time and we'll see what this EQ is really doing to his voice. All right, Marcus, go ahead.
Hello, hello. I don't know if the EQ's on or off right now, but you'll know. You'll be watching the video.
So this is off? Go ahead,
There
Marcus.
it is, it's off. That sounds pretty different to me, and I'm right in front of the speakers. Let's see, this thing gonna feed back?
All right, we've got it back inserted.
Cool, sick. Hey, it sounds better. Sounds different to me.
And then this low mid band, this is helping with that boominess. Go ahead, Marcus.
Boomy, boomy, boomy. It's helping getting that stuff out of there.
Okay, and we've got it back in. And then the second band here is helping with kind of that nasal resonance. Go ahead, Marcus.
Hey. I promise you I don't have a cold. All that nasal resonance. Get it out of there.
And then this third band, again, is helping with that harshness. So we've got it in right now.
Some people tell me that my words are too harsh. Well, Caleb's doing a good job getting rid of it.
Yeah, so that's helping a lot. And then this fourth band, again, was just kind of a utility to make sure that we didn't have any feedback.
No feedback, baby. No feedback. Not right now. Maybe in a minute. Maybe it'll happen.
And I had it bypassed and put it back in, and I actually wasn't experiencing any feedback anymore. So it could have just been Maybe I was running my fader a little bit lower, or maybe Marcus wasn't talking as loud and kind of triggering some of those resonances in the room. I could decide to put that frequency back in, but I think I'm just gonna leave it as a precautionary step just to make sure that I don't experience any feedback within my service. So I touched on addressing sibilance with your EQ, but if you need a DeEsser, I've got one inserted here just to show you how I'm processing this. Moving left to right, we've got our frequency set around 8K, and this is really going to be our harsh sibilance kind of frequency range. For the type, we have a bell curve or a shelf. I've got this set to bell so that we can just be really precise with what we're taking out. For my threshold, I've just got this set so it is barely tapping this signal whenever Marcus really lays into those S's. And then range, I've got this set at -8, so the maximum that this DeEsser can compress that frequency range is 8 dB, but we're really never hitting that much. This is kind of just a safety net per se. So Marcus, go ahead and talk for me, and we can see what this DeEsser is doing to your voice.
Yeah, so if you don't realize it, as Christians, we use the word S, or the letter S, in all of our words. Jesus Christ is my Savior. He saved me from sin and darkness. You say lots of S's on a Sunday morning, and Jesus has 2 of those S's in it, so DeEsser is pretty important.
So the goal with this DeEsser is just to be unnoticeable. We're using it as a utility. We don't want to hear it in our signal and make our speaker sound like they have a lisp if we're over compressing this frequency range. So this isn't the only way to process your headset microphone, right? There are infinite number of ways that you can use these tools to get your headset sounding good. We find this to be the most applicable to most people and most consoles. Every console has a filter, EQ, compression, and probably a DeEsser as well. And you can get really far with these tools to get your headset mic really dialed in. And remember, before we even touch things on the console, we have to make sure the mic is in the right place. Get that placement guide in the description below to help you to get the mic placed on your speaker properly each week. And if you've got the placement right and you've got the processing right, maybe you need to explore a new microphone. There are tons of microphone options out there that we mentioned earlier, from single and dual ear. You really want a dual ear to make sure that that microphone isn't going to shift on your speaker. Usually to get single ears in the right spot, we have to use tape, and that doesn't look good. So explore a double ear if you're having placement problems. And then if you're having, audio problems, maybe feedback with your microphone, and you're using an Omni microphone, maybe explore a directional or a cardioid microphone. Omnis are great because they're super forgiving even if you don't have the microphone placed in the right spot, but a cardioid mic is going to really just hone in on your speaker's signal and not pick up all of the frequencies and all the signals in your room that an Omni would. And the last thing that I would say is consult your pastor. Hey, is this headset comfortable for you? Do you prefer something else? Maybe like a handheld. Maybe the headset isn't the right solution for you, and you can actually avoid all of these problems in the first place. Thanks for tuning into this video, and we'll see you in the next one.